Well, first thing I would say is you should be afraid of taking risks and pursuing something meaningful. But you should be more afraid of staying where you are if it's making you miserable. You're paying a price by sitting there being miserable. You might say, well, the devil I know is better than the one I don't. Don't be so sure of that. The clock is ticking. If you're miserable in your job now and you change nothing, in 5 years you'll be much more miserable and you'll be a lot older. Remember now, I'm not talking about what makes you happy. It's a luxury to pursue what makes you happy. It's a moral obligation to pursue what you find meaningful. And that doesn't mean it's easy. It might require sacrifice. If you need to change your job too, let's say you have a family and children and a mortgage, you have responsibilities. You've already picked up those responsibilities. You don't just get to walk away scot-free and say, well, I don't like my job, I quit. That's no strategy. But what you might have to do is you think, well, this job is killing my soul. Imagine you were taking care of yourself, like you were someone you cared for. Then you should figure out, well, if you could have what you needed and wanted, what would it be? What sort of friends would you have? What would your family relationships look like? How would you conduct yourself with your children? How would you educate yourself? You need to think through how it is that your life could be properly arranged if you had that ability. And then you can aim at that. The funny thing is that if you do posit a goal of that sort and work towards it, you will move towards it. The goal will change because you'll learn things along the way, but things inevitably get better for people. It's not a luxury, it's difficult. It's a moral responsibility, and it isn't happiness. The pursuit isn't for happiness. It's a moral obligation. When people talk to me about watching my lectures, they say, it's as if you're telling me things that I already know. Who you are and how you see yourself and the way you describe yourself all become the same thing. So that's wonderful. Then you're not at odds with yourself. And then you're a functioning unity, and that makes you much stronger and more indomitable than you would otherwise be. My father, he's 81, and I put him in charge of going through my viewer email. We've had discussions about this constantly. He's overwhelmed by the fact that so many people are writing and saying the same thing. I have a purpose, man, and my life actually matters. I finally realized that, and I'm putting it into practice, and I'm bearing up under the heaviest load I can imagine, and it's really helping. They're trying to make their immediate environment better, and it's working. I was after my talk last night and saw all these people line up, and they're hesitant about whether or not to share the good news about their life. I think it's often because when people share good news about their life, people don't necessarily respond positively. They don't get encouragement. And people need so little encouragement. It's just unbelievable. The power of that, you can't overstate the power of that. And every single person who gets their act together a little bit has the capacity to spread that around them. It's a chain reaction. It's a lovely thing to see. My primary motive as a clinical psychologist and educator is to help individuals live more meaningful and productive lives in harmony with their families and their community. That's my motive. That's what I want. I want to help as many individuals as possible become more courageous, more truthful, and more engaged in the pursuit of individual, familial, and social harmony. That's what I want.